Hi, it's Alyssa here, and today we're doing a 15-minute strength builder and we're going to do back to basics. Let's get on the mats. Starting at the top of your mats, we're going to start in mountain pose today. Have both feet grounded into the mat, making sure that all four corners of your feet are rooted down, keeping your feet hip distance apart. Close your eyes as we prepare our minds and our breath for our practice. Arms out by your side and keep your palms facing forward. Stand up nice and tall and soften your sacrum. Tucking your tailbone in ever so slightly. Knit your ribs in to engage your abdominals and draw the crown of your head up towards the heavens. Gently draw your head back to bring your ears aligned with your shoulders. Relax your facial muscles and take a deep inhalation. Slowly exhale it out. Slowing down your breath and lengthen out each exhale. Notice where your breath is going, how it enters your nose, and let the air flow up your spine and sigh it out. Today's meditation piece is the parable of the sower. So a farmer went out to sow his seeds. As he was scattering the seed, some fell along the path, and the birds came and ate it up. Some fell in rocky places where it did not have much soil. It sprang up quickly because the soil was shallow. But when the sun came up, the plants were scorched, and they withered because they had no roots. Other seed fell among thorns, which grew up and choked the plants. Still other seed fell on good soil, where it produced a crop, 100, 60, or 30 times what was sown. I love this parable because it talks about growing deep roots in good soil, having solid foundations so that the plants that you grow are fruitful, are long-lasting, are healthy. And so in today's class, we'll be focusing on the basics, breaking down each posture, and then work our way up into slightly harder poses. So standing in a mountain pose, I want you to slowly reach your arms up overhead. Bring your gaze between your hands. Exhale, bring your arms back down by your side. Bring your hands to your hips. We're going to come into a forward fold, but in forward fold, often a lot of people do it incorrectly. So as we slowly hinge from our hips and lean forward, I want you to keep your spine long and keep your flat spine hinging down. But as you do this, pay attention to not let your hips shift backwards, making sure that your hips are still stacked over your heels all the way as you fold forward. Then release the hands down. Maybe bring your hands behind your calves and press your chest down. Belly to thighs. A micro bend in the knees. Deep breaths. Relax your neck. Relax your head. Coming to a halfway lift, I want you to bring your hands on your shin, or you can have your fingers pointing straight down towards the mat, whichever you prefer. Press your chest forward and creating this long, flat spine, keeping your shoulder blades rolled back. Make sure that your hips are still stacked over your heels. Take a deep inhalation. Exhale, fold forward again. Let's try that 2 more times. Hands on your shin or fingers pointing straight down. Chest forward, flat back. Bring your gaze forward on the mat, making sure that your ears are still aligned with your shoulders. Exhale, fold forward again. Lift your sit bones up high. 1 more time. Halfway lift, chest forward, shoulder blades roll back for the flat back, making sure your upper back is not hunching. And fold forward again. Nice work. We're going to come into a high plank now. I want you to step back. Stack your shoulders directly above your wrists, maybe slightly forward if you want. And you might need to shift back and forth to adjust to keep your heels directly over your toes. Lengthen through your spine, keeping a flat back here as well. Same alignment. Often people have their hips up a little bit too high. I want you to bring it down a little bit lower. But if you feel that your hips are sinking down low and you feel your lower back arching, I want you to tuck your tailbone in slightly, softening your sacrum, straightening out your lower back. Nice and strong, keep pressing your chest away from the mat as if the mat is a wall. Holding it nice and strong as you build that shoulder strength. Deep breath. And slowly drop onto your knees. Very good. We're going to come into our first downward dog now. But first, I want you to step your hands forward when you're on your tabletop position so that your hands are slightly in front of your shoulders. Your knees should be directly underneath your hips right now. Then from here, I want you to tuck your toes and lift your knees up slightly. Then hinge back, dropping your head between your arms. So your ears are next to your biceps right now. Without changing the alignment of your upper body, I want you to lift your hips up high towards the back of your mats. Don't just lift straight up towards the ceiling, lift back and up. Maybe you still have a slight bend in your knees, that's totally okay. As long as your upper back is pressing down and your chest is pressing towards your thighs. Keeping that all four corners of your palm rooted down into the mat. See how that feels. It might be a little bit different from how it feels the way you usually do downward facing dog. Because this time you're sending the energy back to your legs instead of dumping all the way into your wrists. Stay there for a few breaths and bring your gaze to your toes. Without shifting your spacing between your hands and your feet, I want you to hinge forward all the way into your high plank. Bring your shoulders stacked over your hands, heels stacked over your toes. Then slowly round your upper back and lead with your ribs. Think ribs up instead of hips up so that you can engage your core. Round the back and lift up into your downward facing dog. Press back again, chest towards thighs. Let's do that 2 more times. Hinge forward to your high plank. Shoulders above your hands. Heels stacked over your toes. Then leading with your ribs, lift up into your downward facing dog. Micro bend in your knees. Press your chest back. Remember, palms are rooted down. Don't let the palm lift up, especially the index finger knuckle. Always wants to lift up. Hinge forward again. 1 more time. And lift back up, downward facing dog. Maybe paddle your feet a little bit if your hamstrings and calves are feeling tight. Now we're going to come into a tiger curl next. First, we're going to lift our right leg up for our 3-legged dog. Lift up all the way as high as you can, squaring your hips. Then tuck the knee to chest as you hinge forward. Drop the knee down onto the mat first. Then I want you to lift the knee straight back up towards your chest and round your upper back. Lift that knee up a little bit higher. Maybe even a little bit higher. Point your toes. Lift up high and tuck your chin and maybe try to bring that knee to chin. A lot of core engagement here. Lower the knee back down. Lift up 1 more time. Squeeze your core tight. And extend the leg back for your 3-legged dog. And release the leg back down. Nice work. We're going to try that on the other side. Left leg up for your 3-legged dog. Keep your hips square though. Hip bones facing down. Tuck knee to chest as you hinge forward, shoulders stacked over your hands. Lower the knees down onto the mat first. Then lift straight back up towards your chest, round your back. Lift that knee up higher, maybe a little bit higher. Slowly lower back down. Then lift straight back up. Hold on tight, engage the core, and extend the leg back. And release the leg back down. Downward facing dog. Deep breaths here. One step at a time, step all the way to the top of the mat. Let's repeat what we learned just then. In your forward fold now, sit bones up high, pressing your chest down, belly to thighs. Reach your arms overhead, inhale, rise up, bring your hands up high, mountain pose. Exhale, fold forward. Remember, hinging from the hips. If you find that hard, maybe bring your hands to your hips as you hinge forward. Because when your hands are on your hips, you will automatically think hinge from hips instead of arching your upper back. Keeping the flat back as you fold down. And then release the hands down and relax the neck. Hands on your shin or point your fingers down towards the mat. Chest forward, shoulder blades roll back, flat back, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward again. One more time, halfway lift, chest forward. Exhale, fold forward. Now step back into your high plank. Remember that your shoulders are stacked above your hands and your heels are stacked over your toes. You need to fill up your shoulder blades, making sure that your chest isn't dropping down towards the mat. So remember to push the mat away from your body, as if you're trying to lift your chest as far from the mat as possible. Then your shoulder blades will automatically fill up. Lead from your ribs, come up into your downward facing dog. Then right leg up for three-legged dog, squaring off your hips. Bend the knees, tuck knees to chest as you hinge forward. Tiger curl, lift that knee up higher. And extend back and drop the leg back down. Very good. Swapping sides. Left leg rise up. Bend the knee and tuck the knee to chest, hinge forward. Lift that knee up higher towards your chest. Tiger curl round the back. Extend the leg back behind you for three-legged dog and release the leg back down. Very nice work. Press the chest towards your thighs and your downward facing dog. Deep breaths. And one step at a time, step all the way to the top of the mat again. And heel toe, your feet out to the side at the edge of the mat with your toes pointing 45 degrees outwards and come down to your yogi squat. Hands to your heart, elbows pressing your knees out to the side. Lift your chest up a little bit and drop your hips down. If this is really difficult for you, you can come onto your tippy toes. Keep using your elbows to press your knees out for this hip opener. Deep breaths. Well, the poses that we learned today, you will almost always find in every single flow. So learning the fundamentals properly will help you flow properly without injuries. Slowly release your hands down onto the mat and come into your tabletop position. Tabletop position is shoulders stacked over hands and knees underneath your hips, hip distance apart. Whenever we're in tabletop position, I want you to turn your hands outwards slightly so that your index finger is pointing straight forward. As you do this, what happens is that you activate your shoulders instead of letting your shoulders cave in. So whenever you're in downward facing dog or tabletop position or any sort of poses that requires your hands hip distance apart, always remember index finger pointing forward. Activate the shoulders. I'm going to do a few cat and cows here. Head up, shoulder blades roll back and drop your belly down. Inhale. As you exhale, slowly release and drop your head down. Round your back. Draw the top of your back all the way up towards the ceiling. And then inhale again. Drop your belly down. Chest forward, shoulder blades roll back. Exhale, round the spine. Drop the head down. Tuck your chin in. One more time, head up, inhale. And exhale, side out. Round the spine. Imagine a string drawing the back all the way up towards the ceiling. Slowly release back to your neutral spine position. Sweep your legs to the front and sit onto the mats. And then come down and lie down on your back now. Coming into our final resting position. Have your legs extended out, arms out to the side wherever comfortable. Close your eyes and relax your facial muscles. Deep breaths. Declutter your mind and prepare yourself for meditation. You can stay here however long you want to meditate on today's theme, growing deep roots in good soil. As we practice on the mat today, the things we learn on the mats, we often can apply off the mats as well. So where in your life have you not built strong foundations to learn the basics, to know all the fundamental things before you move forward? Are there things that you need to revisit? Wherever your mind leads, I want you to meditate on that. Whenever you're ready, roll onto your side and come back up into seated position. But feel free to stay in this meditation as long as you need.